It's time to become the best version of yourself and help others do the same. It's Monday morning and we're talking success.
Hello, Soul family. Jordan Peterson here with you here in our Soul Studios in Pleasant Grove, Utah. So good to be back with you. I was out of town last week at a family reunion, and I am back at it again, and it's good to be with you. It looks like we got a great group on with us this morning. Man, it's been really interesting the last little while. The Olympics just started. What is your guys' favorite sport to watch in the Olympics? I find myself not caring about a ton of these sports until all of a sudden they have more meaning by being in the Olympics. Because then all of a sudden you're watching gymnastics or rugby or kayaking or things that you're like, I didn't even know we competed in this stuff at the Olympics. But all of a sudden you're cheering for the guys and stuff. I just find it really interesting. So I hope you guys are enjoying that as well. So yeah, be interested. What's your guys' favorite sport to watch or to cheer for in the Olympics? Go ahead and chat in now. It's so good to have you. As always, if you haven't chatted in already, do so because we can see you and we can put your name in the bucket of fun to try to win some swag, which is always a fun thing to do on a Monday morning. Because we missed last week, we're actually going to go with 4 items that we're giving away today. We've got 2 mystery boxes, and I'll tell you what, this one is what you would think it would be, which is awesome. We've got a stadium blanket / beach towel / perfect for picnics. Just throw it down on the ground and eat a sandwich. It's awesome. And then as you're going on your adventures in the summer, you gotta have a backpack. My kids use these all the time, even when we're hiking in the summer. They're just great for that stuff. So we'll get you taken care of. Looks like we got some gymnastics fans, equestrian, Kim, that's interesting. Diving, there you go. Debbie says ice skating. Debbie, ice skating is not in the Summer Olympics, I'm afraid. You're going to have to wait till the fall or for the winter for that next year, I believe. Gymnastics, equestrian we've got, right? I love it. Swimming and gymnastics, diving and swimming. Yeah, all that stuff is really good. I was watching rugby the other day, and come to find out I don't know anything about rugby. I just take what I know about football and try to apply it to rugby, which doesn't work. I'm confused the whole time I'm watching it, but I just find it really exciting. So that's always a good one too. So good stuff. Today's July 29th. Can you believe that the month of July is almost over? We're over halfway done with the year of 2024, which is just crazy, crazy. So Tammy says synchronized swimming. No, really, I love it. Synchronized swimming, that's interesting. That is a sport that looks really easy, but is probably extremely difficult to be able to stay all calm and composed at top while your feet are trying to keep you afloat, right? There's probably a lot of life lessons with that. As always, we love to recognize you guys for bringing in new people into the Soul family, whether that be through trial packs or through enrollment orders. It's just good to see you guys continue to bring people in and let them change their lives through the products and the opportunities that you present to them. We're doing this for a 2-week total since I missed last week. So we'll jump into that right now with our top 10 list. We've got Savannah Young coming in at number 10. Angela Bucheski coming in at 9. At 8, we got Nabor Jaramillo. At 7, Eliza Edric. We've got Katia Rios coming in at 6. 5, we got Lisa Napke. Rounding out our top 5, we've got Corinne Locke coming in at number 4. At 3, we have Eduardo Lopez. And our top 2, Lydia Ferrentino. And we've got Jenny Marcano coming in at number 1, killing it with the trial packs this last couple of weeks. So well done there, right? Good stuff. And we got some other people chiming in about their favorite Olympics. We got some breakdancing. Yeah, they call it breaking, which sounds like not something you'd want to do in the Olympics. But yeah, they call it breaking in the Olympics. Breakdancing, yeah. Water polo, cheerleading, right? Just cheering for Steph Ravetti and the U.S. women's rugby. Man, those guys are tough individuals out there, I'll tell you what, right? Eric mentioned his college degree, which is underwater basket weaving. That's fantastic, Eric. I like that. Good stuff, guys. No, that's great. Awesome stuff. The average enrollment order for the last 2 weeks was $237.80. The reason I tell you that is just it kind of gives you an idea of what type of SoulQuicks individuals are getting, and it allows you to kind of understand that people are doing really well selling packages and getting on these larger product packages, which just allows you to receive more benefit, right? It expedites the process of kind of detoxing and putting them in a good spot, balancing out, and then it just allows them to kind of maintain and put themselves in a great spot. So we're seeing some great things there. we had some great additions to our SN sweeps as well, which is always fun to see. And we wanted to show you 2 examples of these today just to kind of give you an idea what's available and what's out there. So the first one we have is coming from Nicole Patterson. We'll go ahead and watch it now.
I was going through menopause and didn't even know it. I was talking to a family member who's 2 years younger than I am, and she was complaining about hot flashes. And since I wasn't experiencing that, I didn't know. I went to the doctor, had my blood tested. Sure enough, I was going through menopause. The only explanation I can give you is that I had been on the Soul Naturals products for a year, and they were balancing my hormones. So let me know if you have any questions. I was going through menopause.
Fantastic there, Nicole. Thank you for that one. We also have a great contribution from Kayla Bigby as well. This is my mind before I drink Vital. Kind of before and after, right? Here we go. My mind after the Vital kicks in, right? She says, I have gone through my nursing shifts without Vital, and it definitely makes a difference in how overwhelmed I feel. Even running exhausting errands or housework feels like a mountain to climb. And if you have those cortisol spikes, it just makes you crash and burn even harder. When I take my daily adaptogens, I feel calmer and more capable of facing things without so much dread or overwhelming thought processes. It's amazing what plants can do, right? And then she has some great hashtags in there as well. Great little testimonials there, which is what it's all about. We have another one I wanted to share with you as well. Says this is coming in from one of our customers, one of our members, and it says, before Soul, I was always foggy-headed and couldn't remember what I had to do for the day. With Soul, I can do things I need to do without a list. I have more energy when I take my Soul products with regularity. When I don't, I can tell the difference. That is so good. Those 3 things I find so interesting. Those 3 testimonials we just watched, the 2 on social media and the 1 here that was submitted to us. It's interesting how you just kind of get into a grind where you're kind of just in the same spot all the time, and you don't really even recognize the deficiencies that you have in your life until you start taking something that helps you improve. And to the opposite end with Nicole, who's been taking the products, when hard things come in our lives, it's amazing how we don't have the big impact that, or our health doesn't have that big impact on it that it would otherwise, because we're already in a good spot. We're already balanced out. We're already feeling well. And we've had testimonies like this come from a long time ago where people would say, usually my reaction to X, Y, and Z is this, which is huge. But since I've been on the Soul products, it's not that, and I don't even notice it anymore. Or we have women who say, usually leading up to my period every month, I'm just in a bad spot. I can feel it coming. I don't feel well. And now my period surprises me because I'm on products that nourish my body and put me in a good spot, so I'm able to balance that out. And that's such a great thing. That's really what we're looking for, putting us in a spot where we can just feel energized, where our body can do what it's supposed to do without just taking us out, and just really kind of be at a balanced level that allow us to just thrive. And that's really what we're looking for. So thank you so much for those testimonials. Keep those coming in. If you have any, if you're hearing any, feel free to always just send those into myself or anybody here at Customer Support or anybody else, and we'll make sure we get those into the queue to share with you guys. Good stuff. Today's thoughts. I've been putting a lot of different things together over the last week, doing a lot of reading and just kind of putting things together, which is always fun for me. There was a saying that stood out to me in one of these blog posts that I read, and it was titled this: don't waste time solving problems that don't exist. Don't waste time solving problems that don't exist. And I started laughing a little bit in my own life because I think we all get caught in this just a little bit, right? And I'm going to give you some scenarios here, and I want you to pay attention how you feel or how you think about it when I give you these different scenarios, because we've all kind of been there and we all have these different reactions to them. Okay? First one, okay? You text someone and then you don't get a response. You text someone and you don't get a response. What's the first thing that comes to your mind or that you think of when someone doesn't respond to a text that you send them? All right? And we'll give you a second to figure that out here. Jenny says, I'm getting testimonies from friends trying Soul, and they're amazed to the fact that they have all energy all day long and they feel a difference in their day. Right? I love that. That's good stuff. Okay, so what do you feel when you text someone and you don't get a response? What are some thoughts that go through your mind? What are some feelings that you have? Where does it put you in a spot? And I'll give you an example of this from my own life just recently, to kind of give you an idea of where it comes from. Recently I had some neighbors that I had some stuff that I needed to drop off for them, particularly for the husband and for two of the young men that lived in their household. And I hadn't seen them for a while. They're super busy with soccer. They're all over the place. In fact, they just got back from Denmark at a soccer tournament. And so I sent them a text. I hadn't heard from them or seen them for a couple weeks. So I sent them a text and said, hey, I got a gift for you guys I want to drop off. Are you guys home? And all the dad replied was right now is not a good time. And that was it. And so I was like, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Anything I can do to help? No response. Okay. So I'm like, whoa, what's going on, right? And so here we go. So we have some people that say, oh, they didn't reply. Oh, they might be busy, right? Seashell Pony, they're mad at me. Tammy, they must be mad at me, right? Valerie thinks they're busy and forgot. Rose is like, what's happening? Are they okay, right? Gretchen, they're mad at me, right? There's so many things, right? Lydia says they are not connected to the phone all the time, or they have a routine as they do when they answer messages. Good for them, right? So we all kind of have different ways of going through that. When I first saw this message that came to me, I was like, oh man, something must be really wrong, or I've upset them in some way, right? So I swing by a couple days later, and they were so excited to see me. Come to find out, his mom had gotten in a car crash at that moment. So they were heading over to the hospital to take care of his mom, who had been in a fairly serious accident. She broke some vertebrae in her back. She's going through some physical rehab right now. But he was so grateful for the visit, and we stopped and chatted for a long time, and it was great. But it's just funny. You get those texts, and you make an assumption. And what that assumption does is it leads to an emotion, right? Either that emotion, as some of you said, man, they're mad at me. Well, why are they mad at me? What could I have even done wrong? Man, they never text me back. What is going on? Do they even like me? I don't even know why I like them, right? It leads to an assumption, which then oftentimes can lead to an action, right? Where all of a sudden now we say to them, you know what, screw you. I don't want to talk to you anyway, right? And they're like, whoa, my phone was just on silent. I was wherever I was doing something. My kid was playing with my phone. It had run out of battery. I left it in the car. Oh, I was in an area that didn't have service. Like, why are you just jumping to such a conclusion, right? Again, don't waste time or energy solving problems that don't exist, okay? Another example, you get cut off in traffic. What are some initial thoughts or feelings that you have when somebody cuts you off in traffic? And I'm not talking about a cutoff where you're driving down the freeway or whatever and they stick their finger out the window and they cut you off and slam on the brakes. I'm talking you're driving down the freeway and somebody cuts you off and gets in front of you while you're traveling faster than they are or whatever, and you have to kind of touch on your brakes, slam on your brakes, perhaps maybe even swerve. What are some initial thoughts and feelings that you guys have when that happens, right? Chris says, put on your brakes. Caridad Machado says, what an idiot, right? Terry says, since using Soul, I'm much more calm while driving, right? There you go. Rebecca says, oh, they must not see me, or they may be having a bad day, right? Jenny, I'm like, really? Lydia thinks they're texting and driving, which most of the time they are, right? They're texting. Gretchen thinks they might need to pee, right? Erica says they're in a hurry. They probably have a real job. I'm so blessed with not to be in a hurry ever, right? There you go. So yeah, there's so many different things, right? It could be anything going on. They could be hustling down, trying to get home for some reason. Maybe they have a real emergency. Maybe they just didn't see you. There's no malice at all. They just simply didn't see you at all, right? But what are some of those emotions, right? We make an assumption. God, that guy's an idiot. We have an emotion with that. How dare he? And then we have an action. Sometimes that action is cutting him off again. Sometimes that action is flipping off the bird. Could be a lot of different things. Just recently here in Lehi, Utah, where it's a small town, we don't have a lot going on, there was actually a road rage incident where a guy cut off another guy. Words and fingers were exchanged, and they decided to pull over and duke it out. Well, unfortunately, the one guy got out. He got punched, he fell, hit his head, and died. And you look at that and you're like, what a waste. The guy's kids were in the car. They saw the whole thing. They saw their father die over something so stupid as getting cut off, right? And it's just so interesting. An assumption leads to an emotion, which leads to an action, and it can lead to bad things, right? Just on Saturday, we had our family reunion last week, as I mentioned before. I was returning my parents' boat to their house, and my boat trailer got a flat tire. Now, I didn't see it happen, and so I was unaware of it. I pulled up to a red light, and a guy pulls up to the side of me, and my daughter is sitting in the front seat, and he starts doing this to her. the slash throat thing and starts pointing back. Now my daughter has no idea what this means. So she makes eye contact with him, thinks he must be crazy, and just starts looking ahead again. And so then a car on the other side of a 3-lane road pulls up on the other side and starts saying, roll down your window. So I'd roll down my window and she goes, hey, you got a flat tire in your trailer. Just wanted to let you know. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So I pull off right there and I had to change the tire and put on a spare. And it was funny because I was talking to my daughter about it and she's like, oh, that's what that guy meant. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's what that guy meant. Well, a guy pulled up next to me and started doing this and pointing behind him. And she's like, I thought he was just being weird or something. So I like just looked forward. I'm like, oh, that's funny, right? Hers, she made an assumption. The guy must be weird. She felt an emotion, which was confusion, not sure what's going on. And her action was, well, I'm just going to look forward and ignore the guy, right? There's so many different ways and feelings that we can have things once we have an assumption that can lead to all those ways down, right? Which is so interesting. Erica says, in Lehigh, where nearly every street's 25 miles an hour. Exactly, right? It's crazy. How about this one? Someone doesn't get on your calls or your training things and isn't registered for Ignite yet. What are some assumptions we might have, right? We may look at that and say, well, God, they're just not interested. They must not like this anymore. They don't want to be with us. It's not working for them. Oh, it's not a thing that they want to be a part of anymore. But what's the reality of it? Man, anything could be that. Could be that they hadn't even heard about it yet. Could be that they forgot. Could be an emergency. Could be a lot of different things. And we go through this phase of like, oh, now I have to fix something because something's wrong, where in reality, nothing's wrong. And we're wasting time on solving problems that don't even exist. Here's another one. We make an assumption. When you introduce the products to someone, and only the products, and maybe only a product, and not the business or anything else, are we solving problems that don't exist? Maybe in our own mind we go, well, they're too busy for this. They won't be interested. No, they're already doing other things. Oh, they're already healthy. They don't need any of this stuff. Oh my gosh, they already are trying some other stuff. They're not going to want any of this stuff, right? And then we start taking energy and time to solve problems that don't even exist. And the assumption that we make is, man, they're not interested. And the emotion is, man, I'm a little disappointed. I wish they were. And our action is, I'm not even going to invite them, right? It's a tricky deal that we can get into. And we get into these cycles and all sorts of different things. So I just found this to be really powerful for today. Don't waste time solving problems that don't exist. And always remember that assumptions can lead to emotions, which can lead to actions, which can put us in a weird spot. So it's so much easier to communicate clearly. Give people the benefit of the doubt, for Pete's sake. When that person cuts you off, they just didn't see you. They're in a hurry. Don't worry about it. It didn't really affect your life that much. You just have to tap your brakes a little bit and slow down, and you're in a good spot again, and off you are running, and here you go again, right? And if somebody doesn't text you back, my gosh, maybe they just didn't see it. Maybe they were in the middle of texting somebody back when your text came through, and so they were going to get back to you and they forgot. Maybe their kid was playing with their phone. Maybe their phone was dead. Maybe they were in a spot where they were driving and they couldn't text because they're actually going to be safe, right? There's so many different things that can go on. Give people the benefit of the doubt all the way through. And you're going to find your life to be just so much easier. And you're going to stop wasting energy on problems that don't actually exist. Sound good? All right, guys. Love it. Rachel says, everybody likes it when you take an interest in them, so we shouldn't feel bad about asking them, right? Lydia says, we are the worst voice in our head. Everyone is doing what they believe is best for them. Lead with love, then love more, right? I love it. So many good things. Jenny says, perception is not necessarily the reality. We could get out of the picture and try to zoom out. Love more, share love, happiness, and gratitude. Absolutely. Right? I love it. Building Blocks of Life says, yeah, that's a sales move on try later when you need more business. Okay. Chris says, perfect message today. Good stuff, guys. That's what we're talking about. So hopefully that helps you this week as you move forward. Don't solve problems that don't exist. Don't waste time on that stuff. You'll be in a great spot. All right, we've got, as I mentioned before, we've got ourselves 4 different things we're giving out today. We've got 3 different buckets. We're going to do a double drawing for those on live with us today. We'll get you taken care of with this stuff. We've got a bucket for our SN sweeps. Every time that you guys post on social media and use the hashtag SN sweeps, it's all one word, put your name in this bucket. Meaning you could post 5 times this week and you're going to get your name in here 5 times. So it just exponentially increases your chances of winning, which is always a good thing. And so there's really no reason not to do this. I would think that you guys should be able to blow this out of the water. This bowl should be overflowing every week. You always get a good amount, but I think it could be overflowing. So we're gonna go with the one right here for our SN sweeps. This one is what you think it is, by the way. It's not a mystery thing, and you're gonna love it. You can't have too many of these, I'm telling you. Especially if you have a family at all, right? Perspective is key, and most often we do not have the same perspective, right? Don't assign bad motives. I love all that. Good stuff, okay? The winner this week of our SN sweeps is Rachel Bragg. Rachel Bragg, you got yourself a prize. We're gonna put it right over here. Next up, we've got our Ignite. Anybody who is registered for Ignite, we put your name in here, and every week we re-put it in there. So if you win one week, you could win again the next week. I want to just remind you guys about that. We've got a great group coming. Come be a part of it. It is going to be so much fun. The business training is going to be super hands-on. We're going to have a lot of interactive things, because when we know when you're doing it, you're actually learning it, which is going to be awesome. So just come be with us. And as a reminder, you got a couple days left of the month to hit Prime, so you can come on that Prime activity with us as well. Okay. And here we go. Registered for Ignite, we've got Lisa Tucker. Woo! Lisa Tucker, we've got you taken care of, my friend. And then last but not least, those on live today taking time out of their busy days. Let's go. Maybe we can get people that want to do a double whammy here and see if we can get Lisa or Rachel drawn again. Let's find out right now. Here we go. We've got Rosa Nunez. Yippee! Rosa, you've got one. And last but not least, here we go, the backpack, and it's going to Jody Poole. Jody Poole, we got you taken care of. Guys, it's so good to have you with me again. Next week, we have a surprise Monday morning Talking Success. You will not want to miss it. Jump on and be with us. Finish this month strong. We just got a few days left. Enjoy the Olympics. Enjoy the rest of your week and your month. So grateful you're here with us today. Keep sharing soul. We sure love you guys, and I'll see you again soon.